Yo, this is Dr. S for Twinstiq.com. Welcome to episode 26 of the Twinstiq Podcast. Now, if you are a recurring viewer, listener to the Twinstiq Podcast, you are probably aware that usually Cody is the one doing those intro bits. But since he is on a secret mission in a faraway island, I have to jump in and, well, do my best, I guess. Anyway, this week's podcast is a bit shorter, clocking in at around an hour. 1 hour. With me is Grey Wolf and Matthew Ardil, which is the newest member of our wonderful Twinstiq team. You might know him as Common Person from Twinstiq or, well, the other stuff he did. So I'm not gonna keep you much longer. I hope you enjoy the show and see you in a second. Well, you hear me, I don't hear you, and I don't see you. So, yeah. 5. Grey Wolf.
Yes. Hi. I am.
You have to say 4. Oh, come on.
Okay. I am Grey Wolf, and I'm saying 4.
3.
2.
1.
Lift off.
Yay!
Yay!
Welcome to the Twinstiq Podcast, episode 26, we think. And this is Dr. S. With me is Lost Wolf, also known as Grey Wolf, and Matthew, also known as Uncommon Person, our newest addition to the team.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
So, Matthew.
I am still looking at that list, and there's a hilarious game that I'm just going to post into Skype, and you can all just
Way
point
to
and
break the flow.
No problem. Sure thing.
This
Read
is
that and
already-
laugh. Read that and laugh.
This is already turning into a mess. But that's what you came here for. if you
We're
actually
not
came here for.
professional, so there you go.
Twinstiq, 50 Shades of Unprofessional. So, Matthew, tell us a bit about yourself, since this is the first time on the podcast.
Sure. I was a long-time reader of Joystick, and when it sort of faded away, I started my own blog for a while. But you guys were really kind to welcome me in after that didn't really go very far. So just was really happy to be able to join the team. I'm I'm your sort of typical game addict. I like a little bit of everything, and unfortunately have more dollars than cents. So I play on all of the platforms I can get my hands on. So no real preferences, but So it's I'm just glad to be able to talk about games with people.
Well, nice to have you. Now, I did read a bit of your blog, the After Action Report, and unlike us at Twinstiq, you followed a very different philosophy. Yours was more quality above quantity. So, hey, nice to have a good addition to the team.
Thanks.
Grey Wolf, who are you? For those of you who are not familiar with the Twinstiq team.
I am Grey Wolf. I write cranky opinion pieces and reviews.
Well,
That's me,
about
in a
sums up.
nutshell.
And I'm Dr. S. I do the nonsense stuff on Twinstiq, and I also kind of run it. So, today's topics actually will be the Amazon game engine and its zombie clause, the Doom release date, the new addition to Overwatch, the WoW movie coming up, Unravel, Pillars of Eternity, White March, XCOM 2 releases, Firewatch, and games you bought at full price.
Which we
guess-
may or may not talk about, because
Yeah.
we've been not talking about it for a while.
It always creeps up on us, but we never actually get to it.
There we go.
But before we get to that, we start off with what games we've been playing over the week. So, Matthew, since this is your first time, you get the honor of going first.
Okay, I finally finished Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I've been playing that since it launched in dribs and drabs. It's for the first time I can say in like 3 or 4 Assassin's Creed games, it took so long because it wasn't a case of don't want to play this game, but it took so long because I actually enjoyed the game. It really feels like they redeemed themselves with that franchise. I mean, it's still not an amazing game, but it's certainly a lot better, and they actually have protagonists you want to spend time with, which is a pleasant change from the last like 3 or 4 games that Ubisoft put out in the Assassin's Creed series.
Well,
Yeah,
I would argue that Black Flag was quite decent.
well, Black Flag was a good game. I loved, and the one thing I miss about Syndicate is the sailing mechanic. I really do miss that. It was not a nice protagonist. So coming off of Assassin's Creed with Ezio, you had Connor, who was kind of an unpleasant character. It was sort of a callback to Altair, and would have been nice if they followed that up with a more of like a roguish, fun character. But in Black Flag, it's again a sort of down and depressing story, especially as the story closes out. Don't want to spoil it. It was a good game mechanically, just the story didn't pull me in as much. And in Syndicate, you have these 2 protagonists who are fun, positive, so it sucked me in, and they had a really good balance of that. The the OCD gameplay mechanic of hiding enough around the world and making it engaging enough that you keep running off and doing side quests without being so suckered into doing all of this and then just feeling, oh, I feel like I've wasted time. I never felt like I wasted time. So I finished that just in time for XCOM to absorb my life, with XCOM 2 coming out this week too, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, so I won't spoil that too much. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to finish my 4 for February if I keep playing XCOM like I have been.
Okay, Grey Wolf, what about you?
I've been playing Gateway, which I've been moving through slowly. I really need to stop ignoring it and play it again. I've been playing Plague of Shadows, which is the Shovel Knight DLC, basically, which came out for free if you own the game. I'm not crazy about the Plague Knight thing because of the way it controls, but I'm going to try and beat it. I'm going to try my hardest, but I don't know. Right now, I just feel like they wasted an opportunity because they gave you this guy who you can't really control, and I'm not having fun, which is bad. And I'm also still leveling a guy in World of Warcraft, and I got to find another game to play. I haven't actually thought about that, so I've got some for in February stuff, which is
You know,
me
Steam
playing
is
Plague
sale
of
right
Shadows.
now. You might find something interesting on there.
Really? See how much I'm interested, because I'm not. Sorry.
Okay.
So, I've got a list for in February, and I'm going to work down a list. And unfortunately, I decided to tackle Shovel Knight first, so we'll see. I may not make it through 4 in February. Anyway, Dr. S, tell us about what you've been playing.
Well, yesterday I finished Firewatch on the stream.
Spoil it for everyone.
Spoiler that I finished it? Well,
No,
I
just
don't
spoil
think
the
it's
game.
a spoiler to say that you can finish the game in one sitting. That's
Okay.
and I enjoyed it, so there's that. Then I also finished XCOM 2 by giving up about a quarter of the way in. I decided
Oh,
to
no.
just retire my squad, let them enjoy the last final days on Earth while sipping
Oh,
martinis
okay.
and enjoying the
It was
sunset.
like the downer ending, and then everyone died.
Yeah, pretty much. I lost
That's great.
my 2 main squads, but we get to that later on. And what else? What else have I been playing? I think that's mainly it. Oh, of course, Tomb Raider, Neo Tomb Raider 2, which I still on the fence about.
Didn't you kind of give up on that? You were
No,
playing it, then you sort of stopped.
Nah, my plan is to still finish it for in February by just skipping all the side quests and doing the main storyline.
Okay.
because
I guess that makes sense.
the whole collectible thing is really messing with my OCD, and I can't let that dictate my playthrough.
No.
Especially since the story-driven stuff in Tomb Raider isn't really bad, actually. It's quite good, so...
Is it Rhianna Pratchett writing it again this time around, or...?
Sadly, yes. Yes. I mean, I don't know if it's Ryan Pratchett's fault or if it's just Square Enix who messed
It's
it all
probably
up.
Square Enix.
Well,
at least the delivery of the writing is so bad. Oh,
I don't really blame her because I've seen her do work be really amazing. Like I have seen games where she really delivered. I think it may be Square Enix kind of messing with the stew, as it were.
I mean, let's be honest here. They were like, oh, the sales for Tomb Raider are awful. Let's fire those people. Or whatever it was, I don't remember. So
I don't
Square
think they
Enix
got
just...
fired.
I think they were just like, Square Enix were, you're the reason we did badly. And that was that. But, so I wouldn't be surprised if Square Enix was meddling. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all,
Well,
in
they
fact.
suddenly meddled in a way that they Assassin's Creed it more than it was necessary.
Oh dear. Okay, well
For
that's
the
never good.
collectibles and whatever.
That's never good.
Yeah.
Anyway, are
But
you playing anything
at
else?
least in theory, it's a great game if you just try to focus on the story stuff.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so we are done with that segment. Grey Wolf, why don't you lead us into the next one?
Okay, I don't actually know about any of this, so I'm just gonna, tell you to do whatever it is you need to do. I am aware that Amazon made a game engine, and there is a zombie clause, but I don't know anything about the zombie clause. So
Okay,
why don't you tell us about that?
Matthew?
Yeah, so the zombie clause, if you read the terms and services of their new game engine, which is basically their big push to try to grow beyond online retailer, because there's only so far they can grow there since they own that market. Buried very deep down, I think clause 50.8. It starts off fairly normal, talking about this platform is not to be used for medical or self-driving cars, that kind of stuff.
Let's rewind a bit. Amazon launched a game engine recently. I think it was 2 days ago.
Called Lumber.
Or yesterday,
Yeah.
actually.
Yes, yeah.
Which is called Lumberyard.
Lumberyard, yeah, that's right.
And it's actually a game engine you can use for free. So they are trying to, get into a fight with Unity. And
They're leveraging their Crytek assets because they purchased Crytek, and that's sort of the core of the engine.
And inside the Amazon Web Services TOS, which also concerns the Lumberyard, they buried a little choke, let's call it that. So you can take over again, Matthew.
Yeah, so it starts off, don't use it for medical purposes, all these important things. And then it's sort of like out of nowhere starts talking about unless it is a case of a certified outbreak of a zombie virus transmitted through
I can
transmitted through
quote
bite or
it
not.
because I have it open. So point 57.10 acceptable use. Safety critical systems. Your use of the Lumberyard materials must comply with the AWS acceptable use policy. The Lumberyard materials are not intended for use with life-critical or safety-critical systems, such as use in operation of medical equipment, automated transportation systems, autonomous vehicles, aircraft or air traffic control, nuclear facilities, manned spacecraft, or military use in connection with live combat. However, this restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence, certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body, of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain, or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization.
I can't decide if that is hilarious or not.
It is. I
Yeah.
think.
It's sort of
I,
their brown M&M's clause in
I
there.
kind of get why they did that. They got it so they could get people to read the EULA. I do get that, and they wanted it to become news, and
Something
that
you
is the
actually don't want
only
people to
reason.
do.
Yeah, but no, they want people to read EULAs. This is a problem, and it's been a problem for a while. But the problem with EULAs is that they're too long and no one cares. And they're also not English. They're lawyerese, so no one wants to read them. And they wanted this to be buried in there, so someone would pick it up and go, "Oh God, we should actually make things like this in our EULA, so people will start reading them." Maybe.
Well, I
It
don't
also
think
it,
they wanted to. They wanted people to read them because inside this EULA is also information about system and server resources, features used in the integrated development environment, frequency and duration of use, geographic and network locations, and error information messages gathering. So they do some nasty things.
Yeah, they probably do. I wouldn't be surprised. It's Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon
I mean,
wants to own everything, so they're like
I think
Google.
I think a big thing about it too is just to get buzz, because I mean you have to want like we don't really talk too much aside from the Unreal Engine and to a lesser extent Crytek. You don't really hear about other engines, and this is a cheeky way for them to generate
Yes,
talking
that's
points in the news.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Or
other thing.
somebody just allowed himself to make a joke.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
nerdy lawyer or whatever. But it got people to talk about the new engine, so a win for
And that's
Amazon.
what they want. I mean,
Yep.
they want people to pick up the story and run with it. So there you go. They got what they wanted.
Next up on the list. Oh, wait a second, we got a comment. Do you guys think Amazon is serious about the engine? Is it going to live up to what it was as CryEngine? I am, yeah. Amazon spent quite a bit of dough on Crytek, and there are rumors about an Amazon console and Amazon VR headset. So
Yeah, I mean they've been slowly but surely moving into games. The long term implications of this is that they want people using their specific stuff, and porting to their specific console if they make one. So I'm inclined to think that they're fairly serious about this. They obviously spent a lot of money getting an engine out there that you can use for free, because
and let's not forget, Crytek is also very deep in the whole virtual reality business. The engines are
So-
already.
so
Optimized.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was like Amazon's big push into gaming, like at all.
I think what they're trying to do is, like you're saying, build out the back end so people are familiar with it, and that way they've got games out of the gate. It's sort of like the
Yeah,
opposite of what the Ouya did, whereas like let's make a console, and then the people will come to it. Like let's make it an engine, and then build a console for that engine, or
Yeah.
build a platform. I wouldn't even be shocked if it was not even if they went into the streaming field as opposed to
well,
like
Amazon
an actual
owns Twitch.
console. Yeah, well,
And-
not just that, but also streaming games directly.
Oh, yes,
Um,
yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
you're
like
right.
because since they do have like streaming of film and other media, streaming music, it would make sense for them to sort of branch
Yeah,
in that direction as well.
My
There are
problem
also
with it,
sorry, Grey Wolf.
my problem with that is I'm not sure that we're there yet. I don't.
Oh
know
no,
if,
we're
if
we're,
that's-
we're not. That's exactly why Microsoft entirely backed off of
Yeah.
a lot of what they did. So we're probably a good 5-10 years away from that being really viable. But it wouldn't be. I wouldn't be shocked if they were laying pipe
Yeah,
now for that.
That might be their long-term plan. Yes, sure. Dr. S, sorry, to say
Then
something.
there is Amazon's apps and services developer portal. So they are already in. They're already trying to get into publishing games. They
Yeah.
opened up the Amazon Game Studios, and are currently
Yeah.
hiring lots of people for it.
So
Um,
none of this really surprises me.
If you take a look at games.amazon.com, you'll see some previous games from them, which, well, I don't know a single one. Oh no, no Tales from Deep Space. Haven't played it though. But at least on the mobile sector, they are already in it. And judging by the fact that mobile devices are getting stronger and stronger by the day, I think having a serious AAA quality engine
ready to go for when they do, when they do eventually say, hey, let's put out a console.
Well, and especially when you've got AMD saying they can put out a console-powered device about the size of a deck of cards within the next 2 years. With their new. Yeah, well, they say they can, but I'll believe it when I see it. That's my take on that. But I mean, we have hardware is changing so quickly. We're really in an interesting period where you've got a lot of people trying to play the long game as well as the short game. So it'll be interesting to see where Amazon goes with this.
Yeah.
New comment, if I were to add up the pieces, it seems like they're going to take a shot at social networking in virtual reality, which sounds like that could very well be it, yeah.
Well, that makes sense to me also, because the thing is that with Facebook owning Oculus Rift, Facebook are going to push integration with that probably fairly hard. So Amazon has to come up with something to deal with that.
Yeah, and
Google
right now
tried.
is the best moment to actually attack Facebook
right now
because
really
they are
literally
beating
is.
users.
Yes, really is the best time to do that. And I mean, like Google tried and didn't really work out, and other people have tried and it didn't really work out. But I think Amazon has the money and maybe the muscle to be able to pull that off. So if they do it now, they are building for the long term.
Now, what would be interesting is an announcement from Amazon, especially directed at virtual reality, because I can on one hand see them releasing their own virtual reality headset, but especially with the Steam headset, the Valve HTC Vive headset, and the new attempt from Google to get into virtual reality with the successor to Google Cardboard. Maybe they just go for a cooperation instead of releasing their own Kindle branded VR headset.
I don't know, because when you think about what they did with the Kindle, that worked out well for them, and they tried that again.
Yeah, but the VR headset market is already very saturated, and we haven't even.
We haven't even got our first one yet.
I mean, besides the Gear VR and Google Cardboard.
Right, but they may try. That's the thing, and I'm
and
inclined to think that they would do that because then they would own everything on it, and that's where Amazon would be driving. They'd want to own everything that made up the VR.
But with Amazon's focus on mobile devices, I think maybe working together with Google would be the best
that would
way
be optimal.
Because you don't want 50 different devices, and if Google gets serious about VR on mobile phones, then they will probably dominate the mobile market. I don't see Samsung standing a chance, even though they have the Oculus backing.
Although we don't know what Apple's up to, and Apple do have a team working on it as well. So I mean, that's
whatever Apple's working on, it will be expensive, and it will have a very small install base, I think.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to be pushing to go for more of the home device and with the Apple TV or that? So it's such a sort of a crapshoot right now as to where the VR space is going. I mean, I agree. Like, I think partnering would be the better move for Amazon long term, just because that way it lets them get into there faster with less overlay, so they can really focus on making good software that runs in the background that makes it appealing and let somebody else do the heavy lifting.
If they go with a Google solution, then that means that the Google solution will also be not tied to one specific mobile phone or whatever. It will be open, and so Amazon can still provide their own hardware.
The other thing that is interesting about that is that depending on who they partner with, Amazon might just end up going, you know what, you guys are small enough that we can just buy you out. So then they will own everything about the VR.
Yeah.
So Yeah. This is a very long answer to your question, the person who posed this. But yes, we think that Amazon is pretty serious.
Okay, next topic was the release date for Doom, which is May 13th.
Yay,
Yay.
I guess.
Who cares about Doom?
Yeah.
No one.
I honestly haven't played that game for more than 15 minutes since like the mid 90s. I loved Doom, but just the last couple of iterations just have not really pulled me in, to be honest.
Yeah, but
Fair.
they are trying to get back to the roots with a new one, so it's faster, although not as fast as the original. It's also a bit more gory, less horror, more action oriented.
I look forward to being surprised. Let me put it that way.
My take on this is that unfortunately the Doom boat has sailed. They need to do something else. I know they tried with Rage,
I
but
don't know. I mean, they managed to get Wolfenstein interesting again. So
Yeah.
eh,
the
they're
last
all much more
Wolfenstein was great,
muchness, I'm afraid. Sorry.
and I would have argued that the time of Wolfenstein is long past. So
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
It's possible. I mean, it really depends on what they do with it and how updated, but how much like they need to walk that fine line between updating but remaining true to the core of what Doom players are looking for.
shooting.
And shooting,
Shooting.
BFGs and gibbing, and so it's like, yeah,
I
they
really doubt they make it about unicorns. So
no, that's true.
And the other thing is, like, when you look at the last release, which is Doom 3,
yes.
and that was in 2003 or whatever, those people might not even care anymore. That's in computer years. That's
Yeah,
a
well,
long
they are
time.
doing the good old fashioned rebooting, so
Yeah,
you just
I
find a new audience. And
suppose
Doom is
there's.
still a brand that's highly recognized by everyone. So
Yeah,
I mean, it is.
I don't know.
It did
But
define
we'll
the
see.
modern shooter. So I mean, there's a soft spot in a lot of people's hearts, because I mean, Wolfenstein may have come first in a lot, but Doom really
Doom
sort of,
perfected it. Doom made
yeah,
it an actual viable thing.
yeah.
but long
The
story short, just get Brutal Doom 2, I think.
and you'll be good,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, next topic. Overwatch adds a new feature. Actually, they add a couple new features, couple new maps and so on. But most importantly, they add loot boxes. And the new beta launched, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago for
Something
Europe
like that.
and North America. And in this beta, you unlock those loot boxes by leveling up your account. But later on, they will actually allow microtransactions, so you can buy loot boxes. The game itself is still not a free-to-play title. It's still 30 or 40 bucks at launch, if I'm not mistaken. And the items you can get in those loot boxes are cosmetic only, so no pay to win at least. But what do you guys think about adding microtransactions to the game?
I mean, as long as the leveling mechanic is not too bad, like not too long, I don't really care. If I don't have the skin that I don't need to have every single damn skin for every character
Don't tell that
that's in the game.
Wolf.
but it depends on how they set it up. It's too early to tell, and that's probably what they're doing right now with introducing this and fine tuning it. I mean, it could suck. There's lots of games I've walked away from simply because they're like, oh, you don't need to pay, but really you do. But I mean, this is Blizzard we're talking about, so I mean, they have a history of striking that right balance. And I mean, aside from Diablo, the last Diablo, where they completely blew it, but
Well, they redeemed themselves at least.
they did. It took a couple of years
took
of
a year or two.
of patching everything the hell out and then putting it all back together again. But I think if it doesn't work, they'll find a way to rebalance. So that I at least trust them if they screw up to at least try to fix it.
Okay, so my take on this is that I think it's terrible that they're adding like a money transaction to a game that already costs money. You're paying $40, and then depending on how expensive these transactions are, and with Blizzard, micro never means micro, so maybe it'll be like $6 or $5.99 or whatever, or $5. Let's be conservative and say that it is. So every time you don't get the skin you're after, you might feel compelled to put money into the slot machine, and that adds up over time. And I think it's a little bit of a dangerous precedent. If it were a free-to-play game, it would be a little bit different, but I'm not ever crazy about loot boxes, so I'm not crazy about this implementation of a loot box. Because the way it will work is that you have levels on your account, and you have levels on your characters, and each time you level, you will get a loot box. Either your account will level or your characters will level, and you'll get a loot box. So there's only a finite number of loot boxes that you can have. And
they said there's no level cap for your account. So you get these when you level your player score, and your player score is infinite, so you can keep going forever.
Yes, but I mean it's going to get harder and harder to level.
Oh yeah, no, and
So
that's true.
There's going to be a bigger gap because, like, I played a game at one point called Earth Eternal that had an endless cap, and at like 50, which was like what people considered the level cap, getting to 51 it took astronomically too long, So the gap between you getting loot boxes is going to get wider and wider, and that will be a problem. And the way I can see Blizzard doing it is they will put more skins in than you can get loot boxes for.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I'm not crazy about this.
I mean, at least they're being more upfront than the Payday 2 guys.
I guess.
It sucks, but at least they're doing it before they release the game, as opposed to like after, during the middle of a community event as their big.
Oh yeah, like
bonus.
As a surprise. Hey, we've got a great announcement. You're going to love it. Surprise.
Yeah. Now this game that we told you'll never have to pay anything extra for, you get to pay extra for if you want.
Yeah, but Payday also had the problem that those cosmetic items also actually had made a gameplay difference by giving you a little stat boost. I mean, Payday is of course cooperative, but still, I mean, I don't know. My big issue with Overwatch is still that they put a price tag on it in the first place. I mean,
I guess it kind of makes sense, but the price tag I think is a little high. I get what they're doing. They're saying you'll pay $40, so you'll get all the guys that are in the box, as opposed to you get the game for free and then you have to unlock the guys, or you have to pay money for the guys.
Yeah, but fucking Blizzard, they have enough money.
It is, and I think
Steam
that
was able to do it in Dota.
Yes, yeah.
But I mean, you also look at this as more of a competitor against Team Fortress in a lot of ways, and Team Fortress 2 started out as you had to buy it, you didn't get it free.
Yeah. Still, they spent billions on fucking King.com and just
have to make their money back somehow.
Change.
There you go. They have to make their money back. That's really what this is about.
Yeah.
No, I'm still certain that the King.com purchase was for tax reasons. But
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
The gold rush of mobile devs.
Yeah.
Well, next topic, Gray. I don't have the tab open right now, so it's your turn.
Okay, so the WoW movie is apparently coming in June, and with the WoW movie, the way it seems like it's going to work right now, if you they're considering an offer. They're not sure if they're going to do it yet, but there's a thing called the WoW Ultimate Movie Edition, which is you get the movie, right? No, sorry, you get, when you buy this, you get World of Warcraft, and you will also get a month of free game time, and you will get an in-game item, and that is when you buy a ticket to go see the movie.
But don't you
So
already
it's-
get World of Warcraft for free?
No,
No.
you can't get World of Warcraft for free. You can download the client and you can play until level 20, but you can't actually get past that cap unless you buy a license.
So
So-
you actually have to buy the game and not just a month of game time.
Yeah, pretty much. You have to
Oh.
actually buy the game and attach a license to your account before you can. So you buy the game and then you buy game time. That's basically how it is. So what they're doing here is they're giving all those things away if you buy this Ultimate Movie Edition of ticket to go see the movie. They're thinking about it anyway. And it's
And-
interesting, but it's confusing, and I don't know what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, I mean
because
they're bleeding they're bleeding subscribers. I mean it's
Yes.
WoW is like a long legacy as far as MMO is concerned. It's like the only one that's still standing really when
Well,
as a
Ultima Online is still
paid
around.
service. Well, I mean as
Online
a
is still going. Ultima Online is still going.
well, I mean as a paid subscriber base, everything is
Ultima is
really
still a pay-to-play thing. You
That's
have
true.
Although
to
they
pay.
have free servers, so
yeah.
No,
but
they
I mean
they do. Well, not
No, they
officially,
don't.
but
Not officially. No, okay, true.
As far as
Ultima
like
doesn't-
but you know, it's the elephant in the room when it comes to that, and it's Activision's money press. So I could see them
Yeah.
trying to get people back in with with more even more expansions coming out. The fact that Titan, which became Overwatch, isn't happening. They need to pad out another couple of years before they can figure out what they're going to do next. So I
Well, I
could
think-
see this being that
I
that's
think
their
that
play.
Their moneymaker moved over to Hearthstone, but I think that Hearthstone has a problem in that it's going to cap out at the number of people that it can possibly not support, but who are interested, and then it's going to decline. And I have a bad feeling that when Hearthstone declines, it's going to be like rolling down a hill decline. It will happen fast and it will be bad. So I think that you're basically right. And I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to shore up the numbers for World of Warcraft. But they've tried this in the past, and it spikes. Like when they did Pandaria, it spiked and it went down again. And they did it with Warlords of Draenor. They had a spike again and then it went back down again. I think that game is over now.
Yeah.
They need to move on from World of Warcraft, maybe.
okay, let's stop talking about World of Warcraft because this reminds
You're
me
falling
of a big
asleep.
yeah, I really don't care about MMOs. And,
Sorry.
there is a reason for that. When I was just a little lad, probably sub 13 years old, most likely.
Yeah.
When was Ultima Online released?
1996, 1996, 97.
Okay, so I was probably around 10 years old. I went into a store where they sold PC games, which was back then still a thing. And I bought Ultima Online
Okay.
with my 10 years. And I was super stoked, and all the way home I was reading the...
This is going to be amazing. Yeah, it was September 1997.
the package and everything, and it was, oh, this looks so cool, and then I got home, and then I realized, oh wait, you have to actually pay a monthly fee, and then
And that
I
was
never
that.
actually played Ultima Online, and I was very sad because I spent money on a game I wasn't able to play. And
But you opened it so you couldn't even take it back.
Yeah, my
That's
roommate at the
sad.
time was in the beta, and when I
Yeah.
first heard you got to pay, or when he said, "Oh no, you pay a subscription," I'm like, "That sucks."
Yeah.
1997, that concept was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And,
Yep.
I didn't even know what a credit card was back then.
Like the thing for me about Ultima Online, this is not on track at all, but I came from a long history of playing MUDs, which are like free text-based online, massively multiplayer games. So the whole idea that Richard Garriott was making an Ultima Online, that was amazing. But then learning that you had to pay to play it was like if you were interested in the game, that instantly deflated your interest right there.
That's exactly what happened to me.
The first time I got into an MMO was Anarchy Online when they went free to play.
And that was the end.
Nope, I then continued playing Star Trek Online. And I actually had a sub for that for a couple of months. The only MMO I ever subbed to.
Because that was the point where you could subscribe and it hadn't gone free to play yet.
Yep. And it was Star Trek, so I didn't care.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, sorry, you don't like MMOs, we'll move along. So we got a list of releases. I'm just going to list them off and then we can talk about them very quickly. Unravel, which is awfully adorable, got released on the 9th. Pillars of Eternity, White March 2, and XCOM 2. Pillars of Eternity is coming soon. XCOM 2 has been released, and then Firewatch has been released. There were other things, like Street Fighter 5 is going to be released soon.
Yeah.
And
also Far Cry Primal is...
Primal, yeah, and like a redo of Etrian Odyssey and God knows what all else. But those are the big things that we thought about talking about. Unravel's awfully cute, and I'm interested in seeing what happens with it, but unfortunately, it's tied to DRM, so I'm never going to buy it. Else there's anything they want to say about Unravel?
Unravel, well, it's a platformer with a cute ball. From what I've seen so far, the reviews are mixed, but mostly positive.
Yeah,
Jim Sterling wasn't a fan, giving it 4 out of 10.
It's not going to work for those guys. It's the kind of game, like it won't work for Yahtzee either.
It's a Yoshi yarn game kind of thing. It's a very specific niche market, it's a growing market. I think it's nice that they're coming out with this as opposed to like the same kind of platformy, levelly games that have come out for ages. But it's almost to the point where it's like, okay, how many more of these stupid yarn game aesthetics do we need out there all at once? Like, we've got Sackboy, we've got Yarn Yoshi, now we've got Unraveled as well.
We've got Yoshi's Woolly World, which released a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the thing is that I think that what's going on with games like that is that it's the charm factor, and Jim Sterling is not into that. So I'm not surprised.
Well, he has a different definition of charm.
Yes.
If it involves fisting and weird sexual practices, I'm sure he's on board with it. But Unravel doesn't do that.
So I'm really interested in actually seeing gameplay, because the only thing I ever saw was that guy in E3 standing up and being like a mess in front of all those people, and I thought that was adorable.
That's a half of E3, though. You know, it's like.
And that's why I want to see it, because I want to see what was going on in his mind and in his heart when he made that game.
Now, if you get EA access or Origin access on PC,
that will never happen.
I know, but then you could actually try it out, because
that's great. It will never happen.
Although they usually with EA access they give you 10 hours of
10 hours.
Time.
That's great. It will still never happen.
They do something different with Unravel. I think they give you 2 levels. So
okay, that's great. It will still never happen. Anyway, so I'm curious to see what will happen with Unravel, because I really liked it at E3. I've been trying to stay media dark for it, because it seems like a kind of a game that has a story to it. Not much of a story, but it will have a bit of a story to it.
Yeah,
so
I can tell you the ending already.
No, don't. Thank you. I appreciate you telling me.
Okay. Then I won't. I mean, I don't know the ending, but
Oh, right. You're just guesstimating. Yeah. I would guess that your guess is as good as mine. I would say that whatever the plot is, it will resolve happily.
I think it will not. I think at the end, your Yanni will completely unwind and will be just...
and then will be sadness.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
But then they have a happy montage or whatever from
the
journey and all the lives you influenced or whatever you did.
Yeah. And knowing that it's an EA title, there'll be a new ball of yarn implying a sequel.
Of course.
And there will be paid DLC.
Yes.
Maybe.
You can get
There'll be
mohair
yarn.
You
and
can
you
buy
can
new yarns so you can keep your journey going.
There'll be different colored yarns.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Pillars of Eternity, wasn't that out already?
No, it's coming soon. But like soon
Was it
in the
early
next.
access?
So it's not. I don't know if it's still in early access. It might be. It was in early access for a long time. But the date I think I saw was March the 16th or
26th.
something. February the 16th.
Release date 26th March 2015. So
No, this
Sure.
is White March 2. White March 2 is like they did an expansion called
it's the expansion.
March,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
and this is the second part of the expansion.
Yeah,
And that's
Pillars of
called
Eternity
White
is
March
quite
2.
good. So. But then again, my backlog is also quite good.
Everyone's backlog is scary.
And so it was one of those ones that I picked up on the Steam sale. And it's like sitting there like, play me.
Blame
I'm like,
me,
Yeah.
but no.
when I have like 240 hours to devote to you, I will get to you. I'm still not done Dragon Age, for God's sake.
Right now, the Hero Edition is 50% off on Steam, and it's 21 euros, probably 21 American dollars. Not sure. So, if you want to get into it,
So while you're at the Steam sale, right? Do me a favor and go look up what Dark Souls price is. Because I want to
I
torment
think it's
myself.
$15. Yep, 15.19.
Okay, well there you go.
And Dark Souls 2 is $20.
Thank you for tormenting me. Now we can move along.
Really?
All right.
It's 15 euros, so.
Oh,
for
okay, 20
once you
Canadian.
actually-
20 Canadian.
Ah,
So
okay.
Okay.
Canadian socialist.
our dollar tanked. So yeah. Darn oil-based economy.
The other thing that is out now is XCOM 2, and I think, Matthew, you're kind of stuck into that, aren't you?
Yeah, it's soul sucking.
You started playing 4 in February, and you're like, I'm going to do 4 games, and then XCOM 2
Well,
released, and you're like, now I'm going to do 1.
Yeah, I finished one game, and I'm like, oh, I'll do a couple of levels, and then it's like, this is possibly some of the most addictive gameplay. And I mean, I played the original XCOM, so I'm probably a little biased, like UFO Defense when it came out. But then when the last one, I enjoyed the reboot that they came out with a couple of years ago, but it was the prefabricated maps just kept me from really enjoying it too much. But the way they've constructed this, it feels like the stakes are higher. The randomness, like it hammers you with like 50 things that you have to do right at the beginning, but then it just opens right up, and you feel there's a real feeling of agency and an actual living world, because you can do 6 missions and none of the maps look the same. They're the same pieces because they even build out that in the world, like, oh, the Advent have made all these new cities and they all look exactly the same. So I'm like, that explains why some of it looks alike. But they've done a really good job of building that out in a way that feels natural, and it's just super addictive. It's the challenge where it's hard, but not so hard you feel like walking away. But it's hard enough that one bad move could kill your game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a similar story to you. I thought, let's just give it a quick go, just see what it's like, and suddenly the next 2 days I did nothing but play XCOM.
Right.
And I did stop, however, because I got pissed once my 2 primary squads died.
Yeah, that's right. And you said you kind of ended the game.
It is much harder than the previous one, I think. The enemies are super powered to a certain degree, especially with the new armor system they included, which gives them a bonus damage resistance you can reduce in combat, but you need certain abilities or units who are able to. And if you don't have those guys, you can just...
Oh, right. Okay, so once your squad was gone, that was it. It was really, really over.
But even though they
That's
made
sad.
the enemies... Yeah, well, you had the same issue in XCOM 1 if you played it the wrong way.
Yeah.
You're supposed to actually have multiple team members who are on who get experience and are able to sub in case you lose one
Yeah.
of your main guys, because
Right.
that will happen. But the thing is, they definitely increased the power level of the enemy units. But at the same time, they gave you a couple new tricks so you can deal with it, or at least save your units if you fuck up. Because now you can actually set an extraction zone, which allows you to save your guys if you feel like this mission isn't going anywhere and enemies are surrounding you. It works in... it is fairly simple. You just have to find an open space, say outside the door where your units are holed up, and then you can rush them in and extract them in the same turn.
Yeah, and even if you do a double move, technically you should be done. You can still do the extraction, so they're pretty forgiving in that way when it comes to that. I mean, the thing that I really like about it too is, like, out of the gate, modding is built in, so there's already mods, because like some of the hardest missions are the ones with countdowns, I find, because like you don't know what's on that map, like 3-4 squads coming at you, and you have 8 rounds to get to the other side and extract, a VIP or hack a computer or something. A lot of people have had trouble with that, and there's already mods out there that are in Steam that are available.
Yep. I kind of lost you right now. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. There?
Yeah. The cool thing is about the mods, they if you're familiar with XCOM 1 and the modding scene in XCOM 1, you are probably aware of the Long War mod, which was more or less a complete rebalancing and added lots of new stuff to the game. And they actually hired the guys responsible for the Long War to release mods on the day it launches. So they actually delivered 3 very high quality mods on launch, which is kind of cool, I guess.
It's in submachine guns, and a different type of enemy unit. So a class of weapons, a different type of enemy unit. It wasn't an entire... Yeah, it was a commander class.
Yeah, a new skill
field
tree.
unit. So yeah, new skill tree. So it's like, it's substantial, and the tools are there. So I mean, that's the greatest thing. It's like, this is more of a platform than just a game. So there's some real legs on XCOM 2 as well.
Yeah, XCOM 2 certainly feels like they're in it for the long run this time.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm glad that they're doing that.
Maybe now they can focus again on Civilization, because Civilization really needs a good add-on or a good successor.
What they need to do, though, is they need to do a Civilization where they take the ideas from the tool set for XCOM and they build that into the Civilization game. No. Because that's something that that audience has wanted.
I highly disagree.
Okay, well, fair enough. But that's something I think that their audience has wanted for a long time.
No, it wouldn't fit into Civilization. Civilization is already such a long game if you start doing turn-based battles. They could make a new IP which combines those two in a way.
Oh, no, sorry. What I mean is that give modders the ability to make different civilizations of their own, to make different variants of the game. Really?
Yeah, Civilization 4 had an immense modding scene. Civilization 5 has workshop support on Steam and also has really good mods. So Civilization and modding goes hand in hand. That's
okay. See, this is how long it's been since I played a Civilization. I played Civilization for 5 minutes when I bought the box and was surprised it had Steam.
Because
and then
of
never went back.
Civ 4 is still the best Civilization, because they released a huge mod for it, which completely rebalances the whole game. It adds a truckload of new units, new tags, and so on. They add new features like revolutions. Nations can actually break up. You can have a revolution in your nation, which leads to the formation of a new nation. And lots of stuff.
So while the
Rise of Mankind, I think.
Yeah. So while the XCOM 2 stuff really wouldn't, or XCOM technology really wouldn't work that well for Civilization, I think if they really wanted to focus on like an Alpha Centauri reboot, not the sort of half-assed things that they've been doing up until now, they could really build that out nicely. I think that would be more of a fit.
Okay, so since we are close to the end now, one last release, Firewatch. I played it, I like it. If you enjoy walking simulators, you will probably love it. If you don't enjoy walking simulators, you
You'll
might
probably not
still-
love it.
You should probably watch an hour or at least half an hour of gameplay because you might still
Okay.
like it. It is it's called a walking sim, but it's much more interactive in both the storytelling and the way you traverse through the world. And yeah, that's it with releases. Okay, yeah. So this was the Twinstiq Podcast, episode 26. With me was Lost Wolf, aka Grey Wolf, aka
Bye-bye,
Crazy Old,
folks. See you all.
guy. Matthew Adel,
See you. Thanks. See you guys later.
and me, Dr. S. That's Dr.S, spelled DRS. We
Also,
are the Twinstiq guys, twinstiq.com.
Yes,
Come visit us.
it's
We are
Twinstiq
actually
with a
hiring
Q.
new guys. Yep,
Twinstiq with a Q at the end.
We are actually
And we're
hiring new
hiring,
guys.
yeah.
If you understand, if your definition of hiring is close to slavery.
Yeah.
So,
If your definition of hiring is we're not going to pay you, but you can write for us.
Yep. And you keep the rights to whatever it is you write. So
Yeah.
you can feel free to sell it on if it's good enough. But yeah, we are looking for writers. If you are interested in video work, feel free to join streaming. Sure, why not? And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you
Thank you
enjoyed
so
the
much for
show,
joining us.
and
Thanks for joining, everyone.
have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.